In the following tutorial, we will be modeling this rim. To start off, we're going to create a few shapes to create a template to work from. First, create a circle. A radius of 15 works because we're looking for that center cap. Next, create a line. Add one point at 0, 0, 0, then another one at 0.1 in the y-axis. Next, select the vertex tool, drag that line all the way up. Clone it, instance. Rotate. Now right click on rotate to get the dialog box up. Choose 36 degrees in the z-axis. Now we're working the front viewport. Next, select the circle again, clone it, make sure it's copied. Scale it out to match this circle. Once that's finished, we now have a simple template to work from. Select your reference image and rotate it to a spoke that has the least amount of distortion. So for example, the one on the left we'll have to do this one right here. We're going to start off modeling by creating a cylinder. Using the snap tool, snap it for the center point and then to the circle. Segments don't matter in height. Cap, make it 2 just to see where the segments are. Sides, make it 20 sides. But this will not be enough for all the details we have to do, so make it 40. Make sure if you add more or less sides that these two edges match up with your V. If not, you will not have a good looking rim at the end. It will not be perfectly round and you'll have confusing looking polys. Next, convertible poly. Delete the backside. Use the border tool. Extrude it out. Right about there. Modify the circle. Now with that done, what we want to do is delete anything that's not inside the V. Like so. Now to get back what we had, use a symmetry modifier. First flip it, and then add another one. Rotate it 36 degrees. Then another one, 36 twice. Then symmetry, flip it. Save it. Now with that ready, let's begin the modeling process. First we're going to select these edges and connect them several times. 2 should do. The reason why we're connecting them is to get enough edges for this shape and this shape up here. The one up top is pretty simple. Cut it out here, cut it out there. The one on the inside, however, we need a little more to it. Turn on the edge constraint, move these down here. Now with that done, target weld that there. And target weld again. Select the edge tool, take out that edge. And now what we have is everything in 4 points, but this also, select these edges and connect it with 1. What this will do is just give us more balance between the polygon structure. This way, there's less chances of us getting bumps. Also, as you can see, this is a V, but then it bends out. So keep that in mind. Now preview what we have. Apply turbosmooth. Okay, that part's done. Now next, select this edge, turn on the edge constraint, and move it out here. That way we have a balance between equal polygon placement. And tweak anything you have that's not equal. Next, turn off edge constraint and begin modeling by extruding this part out. First we're going to extrude up here because as you can see we have this shape we need to have polys for. So just a simple placement, that's all. Just take that out for now, and we'll add them in later on. Once we have the shape done, there's no need to modify two useless points. There we go. Now also clone this circle again. Change the radius to out here. Then clone it again. Change it out here. Now what we're going to have to do is hide this mesh for now and create a tube using the snap tools. Now change the segment so it matches up with inside the V and it gives us enough polys to add this spoke to it. "90" seems to work fine. Now delete the backside polys. So now we're only working with like a plane. Unhide all. Next, if we look here, there's extrusion coming out. So what we will be doing is adding that right here. Like so. Next, delete anything not inside the V. Take the spoke and attach the outer rim to it. So as you can see now we have this. Next, use the edge tool. And before we get to bridging it, what I want to do is first do this outer shape because it's going to come into play as well. Loop this, drag it out here. Same thing with this, but more like that. Make sure this matches our circle. Using the bridge tool, finish this poly off. And then again, connect this here. Preview it. Okay, that's good, but this goes inward. So before we go ahead and finish it off, first what I want to do is do this other side also, so when we extrude it in, it's going to be even all around. Make it a little past the line, that way it will weld. Next, as you can see, this is a huge uneven gap between this. So to fix this, connect it here with 1. This gives us enough to modify. Next, using the cut tool, just make it a 4-point. Like that. What we want to do is add the curve to it because it actually bends in. Add that there. Add that there. And then curve it out a little bit to give us some style. And then the center cap area actually bends in a little bit like so. As you can see, we have a little awkward looking bump here. You can fix it here or not worry about it, because what's going to happen is we can fix it later on once we extrude in, but pretty much have it already gone. Okay, now once we have that, select the polygons that we need to extrude in and just use the extrude tool. By normal, local normal, and extrude it in not too deep. Delete all the backside polys created that are useless. Take a look at what you have. It's looking good, except this area needs to go in a lot more. So just tweak it by hand. Like that. This here also. Now once we have that done, extrude this part in. Now, just for now, what we're going to do is use a bridge tool, create a poly here. That way we could loop it and extrude it in, just like in the other spot. Actually, this is what we're going to do is extrude it in. Then select the edge tool, ring, connect it. And then select this part and extrude it in. Now, I collapse these 2 points with a shortcut I have. And then this has a poly in here. So just target weld it now. Now that we have that, select this outer rim area. And what we want to do here is select these points. And to make sure everything's going to be proper, just turn on the snap tool and make the points match up with the outer rim. I'm just collapsing these points. Next, modify this so it gives us a bigger curve. Like so. Now once we have that, we need to finish off this area. Like so. For now, just cut it or connect it by 2. That way we could add all the chamfers needed. And then I'll show you how we can get rid of it here. Okay, first, let's deattach this little area. Just chamfer it by 0.05, check open, click OK. Extrude in. This time use extrude. Extrude height is 0. Make the base width 0.3. We're basically using it as a chamfer, except it's going to give us a much sharper corner. Select this point, choose bevel, height 0, 0, and just collapse it. For me, like I said, it's a shortcut, and you'll see exactly why we did that. Select this here and use extrude. Okay, now we have extruded height. Next, use target weld. There we go. Next, select these points. we're going to have to modify the position of this point down here. Turn on edge constraint to make sure we don't alter its shape. There we go. Now with that done, what we will do is make everything here 4-point polygon. Like that. Now as you can see, there's a little distortion in this area. Reason being is we don't have an edge coming up here to take away the turbosmooth modifying. This is why it's very good to work with a very dense mesh. That way you don't count on turbosmooth to smooth out a mesh for you, and you have more control over what's going on. There we go. Okay, now select this edge, loop it, and like before, bevel it. This time don't collapse it though. And then extrude it in. There we go. Now that done, we're going to just create that circle right here. This time, this is how you create seams between parts, and you don't want the reflection to be distorted. First we use extrude, changing to amount like 1. Then target weld this point there because it created a triangle. Next, select the edges in the center, take them out. Then connect it again, and this time you could camfer it with an open seam, extrude it in, and not worry about the reflection being distorted between the seam. Next, to get this a little sharper, just loop it, use Extrude Tool, make it 1. There we go, 4-point everywhere. Now with that finished, take off turbosmooth, convert to editable poly, use the border tool, scale this down, then extrude it out here. Come out like that. Extrude it just a bit, move it out a bit. And now in the reference you can see the outer rim is a different material. We could do loop and connect it, but as you can see we're going to have a lot of places we're going to need to tweak. So what we're going to do is just detach the outer rim as an element, or detach it completely. Select everything on the mesh, choose bevel, and do just a little bit. What this did was it basically made the chamfer for us around every edge. Like on the inside, it doesn't really matter because we're not modifying it and you can't really notice the chamfer. But out here, we don't have to worry about it anymore. So extrude it in. And there we have that. Now select your outer rim, extrude it in. And this you could actually chamfer or extrude, whichever method you prefer. Not worry about having to weld points together. Delete your template. Save as a new file. And that's how you create a rim. This method could be applied to any rim with any reference image. And just work with it. Good luck.